Next presenter this afternoon is Michael Cooper, who's CEO and Managing Director of Pure Foods Tasmania. PFT were formed in 2015 to acquire, grow and develop a premium food business within Tasmania. Listed on the stock exchange last year, and since then have been executing against that strategy by both growing revenue and also acquiring new businesses in plant-based foods and other sectors. So with that little entrance, Michael, I'll hand across to you. I think you should be able to share your screen now and people through.
Thank you, Craig. I assume you can see that okay?
Yep, got it.
So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I just wanted to give you an update on our Q3 year-to-date results, and also a bit of an update on the rest of the business, how we've been tracking. And there's a bit of a presentation here which we'll go through slide by slide. So Pure Foods Tasmania was a bit of intro. Craig introduced it. It was established as a premium hub of premium foods, developed over brands and to acquire and also to grow organically. We've created an e-commerce platform which has been extremely successful. I think everyone has seen the e-commerce platforms grow dramatically, especially with food directly to the consumer. Our broad distribution was basically driven originally through an export business into Asia, which has continued to be very strong even through COVID. So the core portfolio of the business, Woodbridge Smokehouse, traditionally baked smokehouse based down at the Woodbridge, which is about 55 minutes south of Hobart. Still smoked the traditional way over timber. So it gives a really unique flavour and gives us a real point of difference, which basically no other producer is able to do in the market so far. Our daily potato business has been exceptionally successful so far. We've just recently launched premium coleslaw into Woolworths, which is very, very exciting. We're also launching into Coles as well. So that product itself, that whole salad-based business on the go food is really going strongly. And we're really happy how we've been able to continue to leverage our existing SKUs on shelf, by adding the new premium coleslaw to it. Obviously, the pate business continues to go exceptionally well. We've got a really core, strong business there. It's an everyday product which is consumed on a weekly basis. We've seen a lot of growth in the pate business, basically due to people are doing a lot more entertaining, a lot more Zooming parties as such during these weird times, and lockdown has obviously caused a few issues. We obviously have been on the acquisition trail, as most of you have seen. The most recent acquisition would be the Cashew Creamy, which is quite exciting, plant-based ice creams. Point of difference with this product exceptionally is it's made from cashews. A lot of the other plant-based ice creams in the marketplace are made from coconut and oils and things like that. So this is a very unique product. It's growing exceptionally fast, 51% growth year on year, exceptionally exciting. We're just about to launch multi-packs, which will put us into the retail market, currently just being sold as a single stick. Multi-packs will be launched into the market within the next 4 weeks, which is exceptionally exciting. We've also got board approval for some CapEx to expand with the equipment, which has been ordered as well to help our capacity there. We're sort of doing 1,200 sticks a day. We'll bring our capacity up to about 5,000 sticks a day, which is super exciting. On the back of obviously the plant-based foods, we've also got Lords, which continues to grow very well. Lords itself is a traditionally plant-based cheese business done through maturation. No other provider we know is doing plant-based cheeses through maturation, which is a traditional cheese making process. Bit of exciting news. We're going to be launching a cheeseburger at Duck Mofo in Hobart, which is Tasmania's premium festival, which starts next week. So very exciting. We'll have 100% plant-based cheeseburger there using V2 meat as well. So that's pretty exciting. New Passes itself, that brand is a leverage of the Lords brand, which will be our retail brand. We're working pretty hard with major retailers in many reviews at the moment to hopefully get some ranging through major retail with our plant-based cheese range under the New Pastures brand. We've had some significantly strong results. We're pretty happy where we've landed here. Q3 year-to-date sales revenue of 2.1 was up 35% on same time a year ago. Year-to-date revenue is up 5.8 million, up 63%. That's year-to-date to the end of Q3 FY21. So all divisions are very much in strong growth. You can see Woodbridge exceptionally strong with 88% growth, Daily at plus 22, Tasmania at 19, and Lords at 59. And as I mentioned before, obviously we've only had the cashew cream only for a couple of months now. They're growing at 51%. So very happy with how the business is going exceptionally well. There's strong growth in e-commerce as well. We've got 316% growth on Q3 versus FY20. Same period, operating cash flow was at 300K. So the business itself is still tracking very well. We've still got an operating cash flow, cash reserves of 2.69 million. Our e-commerce, as I mentioned before, this is a really fast-growing category. I think, as I mentioned, it's been quite phenomenal. This is a direct-to-consumer model. The success with our Pure Foods Tasmania model is the fact is we just have our own product, but we also have aligned with other Tasmanian producers. It's a good way of us to see if there's any products out there that potentially we can talk to about acquiring or working with closer. And so far, we've had great success in that model, and we'll continue to drive that process. I think this is a really good slide and really important to point out that we are nearly covering all the major channels to market that we can. So we've got a B2B business, we've got an independent, which is the IGA business, which is strongly serviced by Monday Nissan. We've got our distributors business, which is the third party, our export business, our food service business, and major retail. Now we've moved into the ice cream sector, we'll be moving into more of the convenience business, which is the petrol and convenience channel. So once we secure some ranging into the petrol and convenience channel, we will have every channel to market now uncovered. So you can see our massive customer access growth. You know, in Q3 FY20, we only had 200 customers, FY20 700, so it's grown like 500 customers in that period of time, and our target is 1,000, and we're well on the way to that. So it's all about getting access to the consumers. You know, we've got great products, we just got to make sure the consumers can access them. We've had a pretty busy FY21. FY21's nearly come to an end, as we all know, but you know, we built a new factory. We're extending Woodbridge's capability currently, you know, with Woodbridge's sort of running at about 80% growth. We've got to continue to invest in that facility to keep up with the growth, which is exciting. We've ordered new equipment, which I mentioned before. We launched our e-commerce channel, which is going very well. We launched our new homestead pates into 850 Woolies stores. On the back of that, obviously, we've launched new premium coleslaw recently. That's very successful. And expanded our distribution network. You know, we've secured some major partners into e-commerce in Asia, along with our recent announcement with Monday Nissan. The Monday Nissan announcement, which I announced back in the 13th of May, was our exclusivity deal with Monday Nissan for ocean trout and Atlantic salmon. Previously you had another provider, but we've been able to be their sole provider, which is super exciting. They're opening up their Queensland depot on the 1st of July. So that'll be the first time Woodbridge Smokehouse products have been available in Queensland. So that's another an uplift as well. And obviously we acquired Daily Potato and the Cashew Creamy and Lords. So the 3 acquisitions in 1 year, it's been a super busy time. What we're moving towards and we're working on, still working on MPD, especially regarding the Marinova partnership with the Tasmanian Wakame, which is organic seaweed. We continue to do trials with that product, which is going pretty well. We hope to bring product to market very quickly. New pre-pearl meal solution, we're very, very close to launching. We've got molds being made. We've got the recipes are now finalised through our chef. Tasting's been done, a lot of consumer tasting's been done to get the right product range there. So hopefully within the next 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have product on the shelf. It's so exciting. We're also looking to launch a snack range. This will help us along with our ice cream into the convenience space. So that'll be a snacking range in a sort of 45 to 50 grain packet using Atlantic salmon and ocean trout in a bite-sized product. Quite unique, there's nothing else on the market. And early indications from our focus groups, it's very acceptable. Leaving obviously opportunities, we talk about cross promotion. You know, we've got the premium coleslaw, we've got the potato and gravy project, and obviously with our whole chicken meal deal, we think that will add more value to that again. We'll continue to find acquisitions like we've been talking about. We are working very hard on acquisitions. Organically, we're growing, as you can see, very, very fast. Nearly doubled the business in 12 months. But the next acquisition will be of a larger scale, all going to plan, and it'll take us to our 5-year goal, as I mentioned before. Range Tas Pate through our channels in Asia. I mentioned some time back that we secured an export license for our pate business. We're in final negotiations at the moment to range our pate into Asia, which is super exciting, into major retail. That's about all I had for the presentation. Pretty brief, but there's a lot going on, and very excited and happy how the business has continued to grow. And the last slide is just a snapshot of the makeup of the business itself and the ownership structure.
Excellent. Sorry, excuse me there. Thanks, Michael, for that run through. Just a reminder, post your questions on the Q&A function in Zoom, or you can email me direct, craig.sainsbury@marketeye.com.au with a question. So, Michael, a few questions coming in. First one is, you talked about the good growth in terms of revenue from each of the business segments that you've got. Can you just talk a little bit more through the profitability of those sectors? Are they profitable at the moment? And what do you consider in terms of that break-even perspective on an acquisition?
Well, I suppose if you look at their overall business, it's been our first year. So we've had a lot of costs, obviously listing costs and corporate costs in our first year. So we haven't finalised where we'll be tracking there, but each entity is actually profitable. So head office costs are separate to that, but the actual trading entities are profitable. They're cash flow positive, every trading entity, so they're actually tracking really well.
Great. Next question is, you mentioned it before in terms of the mash and gravy and also the coleslaw. Can you just please provide an update on where that's at and when you think that will actually start rolling out into the retail networks nationally?
Yes, well, the coleslaw is currently out there and on the shelf in Woolies. That went out about 4 weeks ago on shelf. Potato and gravy, we have launched potato gravy locally into the Tasmanian independent market. We've got a slightly different product that's going into the national retail, has a stronger film on top, and we've finalised only yesterday. We had more successful trials of that, so we're in the final detail of securing the film, which has got to be imported to cover a longer barrier because of the distance of travel and so on. So within the Tasmanian market, it's okay because we're not travelling too far. But once we leave Tasmania and start shipping the product, we've got to go to a heavier barrier film, which is on its way. We've had samples securely and tested, and as of yesterday, we had 100% success. So we're finally nailed it, and due to searching the world for a special film, which we've now secured, all going well to plan. Hopefully freight doesn't hold us up. We should have that product into the market in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, fantastic. And then there was just a follow-up question there on the mash and gravy. What's the feedback been like from the rollout in Tasmania so far? Any sort of customer satisfaction surveys? Anything you can say in terms of initial sales volumes? And do you think it's sort of looking successful at this early stage?
Yeah, no, early indications are it's what we thought it would be. It's been quite amazing. We've got some independents doing, 30 units per store per week. A successful product in the major retail these days does about, between 10 and 12 units per store per week. So early indications, we're doing 30s. We've got an amazing product on our hands here. So we're very much looking forward to getting right into it as soon as we can secure the film from Europe.
Yeah. Fantastic. I think when you mentioned before around the extra sort of packaging for that mash and gravy, you've got a few people thinking about the sustainability angle. So there's a couple of questions that have just come in around that. So I'll sort of group them all into one. Was your views as a company about sustainability of product, in particularly the sustainability of packaging? Are you encompassing biodegradable films, etc.? And how do you see that moving with your plant-based foods approach?
That's a really good question, because we were only actually talking to a major retailer yesterday about that. In our discussions, I mentioned in the presentation, we are submitting our plant-based cheese to major retail. The plant-based cheese has 100% biodegradable packaging. along with a cardboard outer sleeve, which is 100% biodegradable as well. And we've also our ice cream business, the plastic sleeve that goes on top of the ice creams is 100% biodegradable as well. So the ice cream, cashew cream itself is 100% biodegradable packaging. Lord's plant-based cheese and your pastas will be 100% biodegradable packaging as well. With all our other projects, we're moving to PET, which is 100% recyclable in our pate business. And we're also, our potato and gravy tub is PET as well, which is 100% recyclable too. And a cardboard sleeve on top, which is obviously 100% recyclable. The film itself is currently not recyclable because it's a barrier film that's got to take 200 degrees of temperature. But everything else is 100% recyclable or biodegradable. It's obviously a mandate of us, whatever product we launch from now on, if at all possible, it has to be sensitive to the environment regarding packaging.
Yeah. And just another question on that theme, regarding the products and security of raw materials, is everything sourced from Tasmania?
Well, as I mentioned before, the film itself is not. The film that goes on top of the mash, that comes from Europe.
In terms of the products themselves, in terms of
raw material?
Yeah, exactly, in terms of the potatoes, etc., go with coleslaw, so the raw food products.
So all the raw material itself, obviously all the fish comes out of Tasmania, the fish and the trout. The potatoes are grown locally at Dunalley. The pate, we use Tasmanian butter, we use Tasmanian cheese, we use Tasmanian chicken livers, we use Tasmanian salmon. The plant-based cheese product is a combination. We use Tasmanian walnuts in there, which are grown on the east coast of Tassie, which are pretty cool. Our cardboard packaging is all made locally on the island of Opal. So whatever we can 100% source here, we will. Obviously, it's we want to look after Tasmania because they look after us. And also it's speed to market as well. It's a lot easier to produce locally and support the economy. So yeah, 100% mandate wherever we possibly can. There's some products I mentioned they're not even made in Australia that we have to import as in a film. But apart from that, all our raw material product is sourced locally.
Right, thank you. Just a question around competition. A lot of competition for Tasmanian products. Can you just talk a bit about the competition you're coming up with your products in the major retailers, and anything that you can share in terms of the market share that your products are gaining at the moment?
Yeah, no, it's as far as the market share data is, we haven't actually got some updated data. We sort of get it, we'll get it in about another 2.5 weeks. The last lot of data we got, which we share, basically it's between us and the retailer, but I can say that our brands are traveling very well and very strong. You've got to reach certain targets to stay on shelf. And we're exceeding those targets. And that's why new ranging's been added, because our family can grow due to our success, and our footprint is supported by your footprint, or your shelf space is supported by your sales, your units per store per week. So we're really happy how it's going. As far as competitors within Tassie, we don't have any direct competitors, to be honest. We sell ourselves very different and have a point of difference. You know, the major providers in other categories are quite different to us. We have a point of difference the way we do our product. You know, we nurture our product a lot more. There's a lot more labour involved in our products. That's why we're a premium product. And we're doing our methods over traditional ways. You know, we're still using, you know, in our smokehouse, we're still cooking over or smoking over timber, raw timber. So over an open fire. So that's obviously takes more time. Our brining process is 72 hours versus the other guys is a lot less. So we are very much continue to stick to the traditional way of producing foods. And keep away anything else that was 100% natural. We can do it, we'll do it. That's actually our mandate. So we don't see ourselves having major competitors. I mean, Tasmania itself is unique, and you know, we're very lucky where we live. It's clean air. As you know, so far we've been able to embed ourselves pretty well through this this pandemic. So we're very lucky at this point of time. But the water, the soil, it's amazing.
Yeah, look, no point rubbing in COVID to a Victorian there, Mike. You're not going to get too many credits from me. But look, the next question, we've got a couple more questions and a couple of minutes to get through them. There's been some really interesting acquisitions that have come through in terms of Lords and Cashew Creamery, very much focused on the plant-based food market. Is that the strategy for acquisitions and growth going forward, is more focused on there, or will you balance that out with traditional Tasmanian foods as well?
Yeah, no, I must say that the all our research is also, and our focus has been on consumer-led categories. Plant-based foods is absolutely dominating the growth in beverages and food throughout the world. It's the generation below us, Craig. It's not us, because we meet the three beach volley, but our generation, our children's generation are absolutely, they're very much focused on saving the world and very much focused on important how their food is sourced, how their food is grown. Makes a big difference to how they purchase. So yes, we are very much focused in that space. We believe we can have a point of difference, and we believe to be first there. It's very fragmented, that there's no one doing it nationally well in that space. So we want to really take control of that. To answer your question, the other side of things in the food space itself, food and beverage space, but they have to be of a premium nature, and they have to be of a better for you nature. We probably won't go invest in foods that's not better for you, or beverages. So very much on the clean green image that suits the Pure Foods brand.
Great, thank you. Last question coming up, just given time. There is a question around synergies from acquisitions. Are you seeing synergies come through? Is it a fixed base cost model that you've got, and does your distribution network allow you to drive some big synergies from those acquisitions?
Yeah, no, we've had good synergies so far. So obviously, recently merging the ice cream business in with the Lord's plant-based foods, so that'll be one entity, and they'll actually sit under one roof in one factory as well. Yet before they were isolated, they use very much the same raw materials, so they can both use the same base. They both use a lot of cashews, and they both can draw off that same base as well. Their purchasing is there connected, so they can buy a container worth of cashews now instead of buying 3 or 4 pallets. So the cost has come down dramatically. So we've seen large efficiencies in purchasing there. All our distribution now comes out of a central point. Everything comes out of Mornington now, except for export, which goes directly from the export certified factories. So all our route business is combined, and we're actually packing orders together and distributing off one truck. So we've got efficiencies there. We've stopped the duplication at site level. So yes, to answer your question, we've had a lot of efficiencies with suppliers and with logistics.